biggest focus for MIUI going forward. So speaking of the MIUI 1, we launched that a couple of weeks ago, and people really loved the device. But when we started looking at the feedback, the most feedback we got was actually about MIUI features. So all of the stuff you see up here comes from the Mi Feedback app, which is on the MIUI 1. You can also see this if you look at online reviews on online websites. You have a lot of things that people are asking for, things like the File Explorer, themes, notification status bar. My personal favorite is this one in all caps over here, which says, MIUI calling was much better than the Google UI. I totally agree with that, maybe not as passionate, but this was by far the most feedback we got, was people complaining about the lack of various MIUI features. So with MIUI 9, we're going to talk about 4 improvements to some of these things which make MIUI great. Notifications, split screen, some new icon animations, and smart photo editing. So the first is notifications. And when people are doing these comparisons to stock Android, I think this is probably the most commonly mentioned difference. And so for the global version of MIUI 9, we've made the notifications perform much more like stock Android. So here are the new MIUI 9 notifications, and we now support all major notification features and types. On the left here, you have multiple styles with inline images. You can expand it and see the full image as well as a quick action. Speaking of expanding it, I think you guys are going to really like this one. The middle one shows bundled notifications, so you can have 3 messages from WhatsApp that show up in just one card. And if you want to expand it, single finger swipe, and it expands all the messages for you. Okay, third one here on the right is quick reply. So if you want to reply directly from notifications, you just click reply, keyboard pops up, and you can send a reply to my boss directly from the notification state. So that's notifications in MIUI, completely redesigned for the global version, designed for global users, and in particular, global developers who take advantage of a lot of these features. Here's another commonly requested feature, split screen. So we use the same APIs that were built into Android N, so it works almost exactly like stock Android. Actually, we made some improvements. The biggest thing we did is we made it easier for people to swap the position of the apps. So when you're multitasking, by default, what you're doing is switching between apps. So here we have a stock Android device. Let's say you have Facebook on the top, WhatsApp here on the bottom. If you want to switch these, if you want to move the WhatsApp split screen to the top, actually it's a bit complicated on stock Android. It's a 4-step process. You have to end the split screen session, tap the menu button again, drag the WhatsApp app, this time to the top of the split screen, and then again tap the Facebook app to bring it to the bottom. So in MIUI 9, we made this a lot easier. It switches in a snap. Again, the UI is pretty much the same, but all you do is double tap this middle button, and it swaps easily, just 1 step. So we've also added some really cool touches to MIUI 9's design. I think a lot of the feedback we had was design-related, things like themes and some of the animations. And these icon animations are a small detail, but they're a really cool touch. So here we're in the phone app, and when we touch home, you can see the app kind of gets swallowed in the icon, and you see a nice little shake of the handset. If we're in the Mi Community app, again, tap home, sucked into the icon, and you see a little bunny ears bounce. We can do that again, because it's a little bit cooler when you focus on it. Let's zoom in here. And the Mi Community app. It's really cool, right? So we have 21 animated icons. Here's all of them up here, and there will be more coming in the next coming months. Okay, so the fourth thing I mentioned, smart photo editing. So let's say you take a beautiful photo like this, but unfortunately, you have 2 people here in the background kind of ruining the whole outdoorsy, alone look and feel. So with the new MIUI photo editor, you can open up the erase option, tap on the people, and they disappear. Here's another example. This is a restaurant, but unfortunately, we have the sky marred by these lines, wires up here. So again, open up the Smart Photo Editor, drag your finger across the lines, and they disappear. And it's important to note here that these images were not done on anything but a phone. This was actually done in MIUI using this feature, and even blown up on the big screen, you can't really tell, which is pretty amazing. And that's kind of the promise of MIUI. We give you features that maybe you never would have thought of, or that would cost you, in this case, hundreds of dollars worth of expensive photo editing software, and we make it available to everybody on your phone. It's pretty awesome. So those are the 4 improvements that we made to MIUI 9. Changes to notifications to support more global features, split screen, which is a much easier way to swap the apps, these really cool little icon animations, and the smart photo editing, which is powered by on-device machine learning, available to all MIUI 9 devices. Okay, let's talk about some new features. The first up is App Vault. Let's say you're in a cafe and you want to pay with Paytm. Normally, you'd have to open up your phone, try to find the app, get to the scanner, do a whole bunch of stuff. In MIUI 9, you just swipe left of your home screen, and you have a whole bunch of shortcuts here. You can see up at the top, we just have a scan button. Quickly tap on that, scan the QR code, and you're done. Here's another example. Let's say you're out shopping, and you want to take a cab home. You want to find a cab home. So with MIUI 9, again, just swipe left of your home screen. Here we have Ola, and we've pre-saved our home and work addresses. And so MIUI 9 will automatically give you an estimated fare for going home from the shopping mall. Here, let's say we want to go home. We just tap on home. It opens in the Ola app with these destinations pre-filled, and you can book a cab really quickly and easily. So I just touched on a few of them. We support a whole lot more, things like notes, scores, calendar events, and this feature is brand new. We'll be adding a lot more stuff in the coming months. Next, I want to talk about the new Mi Video app. So the video app now supports many, many more popular video formats. We have another cool feature. Let's say you have a whole bunch of different videos on your phone. We know that the top 6 here are from a TV show, the bottom here are different movies, but in a normal video player, they would all show up kind of in this haphazard jumble. So the new Mi Video app will automatically group these items that are similar to make it much easier to browse, right? All of those 6 episodes are now in a single tile, and it's easier to do what you want. The video app has a whole bunch of other cool features that I'm not going to show today, things like multilingual subtitles. If you have different audio tracks, you can switch from English to Hindi to whatever audio tracks you have. You also have support for making certain videos private on your phone. It's a really, really cool app. Encourage everybody to check it out. Next up is Mi Drop. So Mi Drop has been a popular feature in MIUI for years, but actually when we started researching, it's disproportionately popular here in India. We found that people really, really like sharing files offline, more so than anywhere else. And so in MIUI 9, we took it out of settings and made it its own separate app. It has an all-new app icon, and it's available on your home screen. We've also completely simplified the UI. There's just 2 buttons, send and receive. So if we want to receive a file, we just tap receive, wait for our friends to send the file. See, we have 3 files here. Tap accept, and you get this nice progress bar, making things quick and easy. Done, and that's it. So Mi Drop, it's a separate app now, all new design in UI. One of my favorite features here is that you can actually resume transfers that get interrupted. So if you're transferring like a huge file, very often you might have some trouble with connectivity, and Mi Drop will let you resume it seamlessly. It's also available now on the Play Store, so you can transfer to any Android device. And if you happen to not have the internet, you can also share the Mi Drop app to your friend who doesn't have Mi Drop quickly. Either they can scan the QR code and download it from Play, but if you don't have the internet, they can just follow these steps and get the app directly from your phone and install it that way. Actually, this is pretty cool. It turns your phone into a local web server and then hosts the app so you can share it easily. So like I mentioned, Mi Drop is now available on Google Play. We've actually done this with a few of our apps recently. You might have seen the Mi Calculator app, also available on Google Play. It's, I think, by far the best calculator. Supports things like currency conversions, mortgage calculators, weight, time conversions. It's really cool. The Mi Explorer app we put on the Play Store because we got a lot of feedback from Mi A1 users that they wanted a robust file manager like we had present in MIUI. So all three of these apps are now available on the Play Store. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about some India customizations. We talked about this IRCTC card a couple months ago, and it's launching today in MIUI 9. Just to refresh your memory, I think almost everybody here has probably taken a train before. You're probably familiar with this text message that you get, which has all the information that you need, but since it's comma delimited, can be a little difficult to actually read. So in MIUI 9, we've made this much, much better. So this is all the same information, except you can actually find the things that you want. It's laid out to look like an actual ticket. I think probably the most important things here maybe are their P&R number, obviously the date and time of your journey, and also your seat number once you get to the train. But not only that, we made it even better by adding these action buttons. So you can, with one tap, check your P&R number or add this trip to your calendar. All right, now let's talk about calendar. So in MIUI 9, we've integrated a punch-on calendar into our own calendar app. So this shows all the days as per the lunar solar calendar, or I think more popularly known as the Hindu calendar. And as you can see, it even gives you a lot more details. It gives you deep insight into the moon sign, lunar months, inauspicious times. And we've also incorporated over 25 festivals into the calendar app. Raksha Bandhan, Eid, you can see a whole bunch of them here. So these festivals will show up when you're on that day here, August 15th, Independence Day. If you happen to not know much about Independence Day or you want to know more, you can just tap on the festival card and up comes a bunch of helpful information. So we have a whole bunch more stuff in the Mi Calendar app. We have news, cricket scores, schedules, and we really encourage you to check this out. A lot of this stuff was designed just specifically for India. I think this one's going to be pretty fun. Stickers. All right. Let's say you have a boring photo like this of me and Manu, but you want to jazz it up a little bit. I don't know, I think this looks better, but maybe you want to make it a little bit more fun. I think we're getting close. Maybe one other thing. So you can add mustaches, hair, a whole bunch of different things. You can do a lot of stuff with these stickers. Hair, cricket helmets, a lot of accessories, things like jewelry, glasses. Can do really cute things. It's pretty nice. And actually, there are 12 different sticker sets. The top 4 that you see here were designed exclusively for India by our local Indian R&D team based out of Bangalore. Okay, themes. Themes has been one of the banner features of MIUI since MIUI 1. And of course, with MIUI 9, we have a new theme. This theme is called Limitless. It's available in the out-of-box experience, so when you first start setting up MIUI. The theme on the left here is the default MIUI theme. And the Limitless theme changes the icons to look a little bit more to the global style and it also changes the background. So here we have a rectangular background with rounded corners, whereas the Limitless theme has a transparent background. We also have an India exclusive theme, again, designed by our local R&D team. This is available in the theme store. So that's themes. All right, coming to security. So I think many of you might have seen this minor Wi-Fi vulnerability in WPA2. It's called crack. And the fix for this will go out via a Google security patch, I think the November security patch. And in MIUI, this is actually fixed already. And it's not just fixed for recent devices. We backport this patch to phones going as far back as the Mi 2, which was launched in 2012. So I think, as far as we're aware, this is by far the oldest Android phone which will have this patch. Even Google devices do not get security updates for 5 years. And we are supporting a 5-year-old phone with the latest security patch. I think in the video, someone mentioned the thing he really liked about MIUI was updates. And Mi fans know a lot about these updates. But these updates are not just features. They already also include things like security, which is obviously critical. OK, so that's a good overview of MIUI 9. We made a short video to summarize some of these features. Let's take a look. MIUI 9, lightning fast. And it's important to point out that all of these features, we don't do all of this by ourselves. A lot of these features were powered by our partners, some of which you see up here on the screen. In fact, next week, we have our first ever MIUI Partnership Day here actually in Gurgaon. And we hope to bring more of these types of features powered by our partners just for India. So big thank you to all of the partners. This is a slide that I'm sure you're all interested in, which is what devices are getting MIUI 9. We've listed this here by the launch year of that device. And again, I think impressively, if you go down here, you see numbers like 2012 and 2013. As far as we're aware, somebody please tell me if I'm wrong, but as far as we're aware, this is the oldest Android smartphone in the world to still get official updates from the manufacturer. So we don't just support updates for the latest devices. These isn't just for flagship devices. You see devices like the Redmi 2, the Redmi Note 4G, they're all getting MIUI 9. We have over 2,000 engineers working on MIUI, and this is a lot of the stuff they do. They try to bring the latest and greatest features available to as many people as possible. So speaking of availability, probably more interesting than this slide is when is it coming to your device? So starting tomorrow, the MIUI 9 stable version will roll out to the Redmi Note 4, the Mi Max 2, and the Mi Mix 2. This will begin in a staged rollout. We plan to update every single device on the previous slide, the stable version, by the end of the month. And of course, if you can't wait, the beta version is available for everything right now. So that's MIUI 9. What do you think? I think you'll really like it once you get a chance to play with it. All right, coming to our next announcement. Manu already mentioned the new series, the Redmi Y. It's the newest addition to our Redmi series, and we have two devices to tell you about today. So first up, the Redmi Y1. And our hashtag today, as Manu mentioned, was your best selfie. And in recent years, the front camera is becoming more and more important, particularly because of the rise of the selfie. In fact, even for me, it's difficult to remember a time when smartphones didn't have a front camera. Actually, I personally use it as a mirror. I think after watching this video, I was told I need to shave, so. But there are two common challenges to taking a great selfie: low-resolution cameras and low-light situations. And here's a typical shot taken from a 5-megapixel camera. When you zoom in, you see that it lacks details, and most importantly, it has a lot of noise. For low light, here's some shots under low light. This happens a lot indoors. They tend to look like this. In this photo, you can see the graininess on her face, but particularly in the background. On the white background there's just all these spots. Low light just makes it really difficult for a front camera to capture details accurately. So the Redmi Y1 has our first ever dedicated LED selfie light. It also has a 16-megapixel front-facing camera. And it has a 5-element lens with an f2.0 aperture. It also comes with a whole lot of other features, such as our new Beautify mode with 36 smart profiles. But back to noise. So image noise is a big problem, and I mentioned particularly for selfies. And so here's a typical sensor coming to noise. So what happens is when the light hits the sensor, read noise, all of these little boxes are pixels. So when the light hits the sensor, read noise is produced in each of these individual pixels before it's transferred to the processor, image processor. So Redmi Y1 uses a technique called pixel binning. This takes a cluster of pixel values in the camera sensor and combines them, creates one super pixel. So the overall noise is reduced in this super pixel instead of spread out over multiple smaller pixels. And importantly, this improves the quality and low light performance of images. It helps us solve the noise problem, reducing image noise in the final photo, and it also effectively increases the sensitivity of the sensor. It gives you a clearer and sharper photo. But the LED selfie light is not just for indoor and low light shots. It also gives you an additional sparkle to your eye, something that we call the catch light. These are gleams of light in your eye, kind of similar to, like a J.J. Abrams lens flare. And if we zoom in here, you can see it much more clearly. The catch light is one of the secrets to a great-looking selfie. So we combine hardware and software with the 60-megapixel front camera and an LED selfie light, as well as things like pixel binning and, of course, our Beautify mode to get some really good images. So let's take a look at some of the comparison shots here. These two phones here are from the typical selfie phones. All of these devices have selfie lights, but since we've also spent a lot of time tuning the software, we think our image looks a lot better. And in particular, the thing to notice here is the white balance. So if you look on the left here, the white balance is a little too cool. It looks kind of gray, looks off. But if you look on the right, it's too warm. The colors are totally wrong, and especially if you look at the background, it's just way off. Since we've spent so much time tuning the hardware and software, we think we've achieved a good result. We have the best white balance that we can get thanks to the LED light and our software algorithms. Let's take a look at some of the other selfies shot on Redmi Y1. You can see the catch lights here. They add depth to the photo and make it more lively. In this one, we have catch lights in both eyes, really natural and pleasing. So that's our goal. It's to make your selfies bright, clear, and beautiful. And that's what we did with the front camera of the Redmi Y1. 16-megapixel front camera with an LED selfie light. All of this combined with things like pixel binning and, of course, the features you know and love like the selfie countdown, beautify mode, etc. It gives you great photos, particularly under lower light. So moving to the rear camera, the Redmi Y1 comes with 13 megapixel camera. It's PDAF autofocus. Has several built-in features like HDR, real-time filters. Your phone to heat up. Well, every component of your phone generates some heats. Things like the CPU, camera, GPS, that kind of stuff. And so this is especially a problem when you're using multiple of these things at the same time. So what we have in Redmi Y1 here is an aluminum alloy mid-frame. It has high thermal conductivity. And so what that means is that any heat that's generated is spread out much more quickly and efficiently across the surface of the phone. And the result of this is that your phone cools down much more quickly. In fact, it's 2 times more efficient at heat dissipation compared to magnesium, which is another commonly used material, and up to 10 times more efficient than stainless steel. So ultimately, thermal performance of your phone comes down to many different factors. And it's a particular focus for our R&D team from now and going forward. Redmi Y1 also has a dedicated micro SD card slot. Maybe I don't need to explain this too much. Like most of the phones that we've launched in India, Redmi Y1 ships with an infrared remote. It's compatible with hundreds of brands, thousands of models. We spent a lot of time on making sure that we have compatibility for models here in India, especially thanks to our Mi fans. So that's a quick summary of the hardware of the Redmi Y1. Power to achieve more. There's a Qualcomm Snapdragon 435, dual nano SIM cards with a dedicated SD card slot, and of course, the infrared remote that you all know and love. Coming to the software, MIUI 9 will be available to the Redmi Y1 starting in the middle of November, the stable update. Before we do that, Redmi Y1 is made in India. Quick summary of the version here: 3 GB of RAM, 32 GB of internal storage, Qualcomm Snapdragon 435. Price? So we also have a 4 GB version. This has 64 GB of internal storage, and it's priced just $10,999. So that's the Redmi Y1. 16-megapixel front camera with the LED selfie light, rear fingerprint sensor, Qualcomm Snapdragon 435, and 2 versions, 332 for $8,999 and 464 for $10,999. I think the phone looks pretty good, right? All right. Second product, the Redmi Y1 Lite. Big display, great performance. Just like the Y1, it also has a 5.5-inch HD display with Corning Gorilla Glass. Let me talk a little bit more about why we think this 5.5-inch display is important. So here's the chart we put together with some data from IDC as well as our own internal analysis. And what this shows is 5.5-inch, the market share of 5.5-inch devices by price. And if you can see here, when you go above 10,000 rupees, 5.5-inch phones have a huge market share, over 50%. From 15 to 20,000 rupees, it's almost 80% in certain quarters. But when you look below 10,000 rupees, 6 to 10,000, the numbers are much, much lower. It's like 5, 10%. So why is that? Well, we think there's 2 possible reasons. Maybe people who buy a phone below 10,000 rupees just don't want a bigger display. That's possible. But when we started looking at the devices that were actually launched in this segment, we realized it's a product problem. There just aren't any good phones with 5.5-inch displays available in this price range. And the Y1 and the Y1 Lite are here to change that. So the Y1 Lite has great hand feel, has the same curved edges, and it's also super lightweight. It's just 150 grams. It's available in 2 different colors, dark gray and gold. The Y1 Lite runs on the Qualcomm Snapdragon 425, awesome quad-core processor. Has a 3,080 milliamp hour battery, which will last you through the whole day. Again, like the Y1, also has a dedicated micro SD card slot. Supports up to 128 gigabytes of expandable storage, by the way. So I just want to talk quickly about durability. So these are some of the tests that we ran on the Y1 Lite. You can see going through hardware tests. In particular here, we test the SD card. And these are some of the same tests that we do on our Mi series of phones. But we make sure to do this across the range of our phones. Much like with MIUI, we don't bring innovation just to the expensive devices. And innovation isn't always new features. Quality is critical. So we want to spend a little bit of time showing what we do, even for devices in this price range. MIUI 9 for the Y1 Lite will be available again in mid-December. Sorry, November. I would get in trouble for that one, I think. Price. But first, 5.5-inch display, again, which we think is particularly important because there just aren't any good phones. There aren't any phones like this available in this price range. You have 2 SIM card slots with a dedicated SD card, the Qualcomm Snapdragon processor, and things like the IR Blaster, which people really like. Not yet. It's also, Y1 Lite is also made in India. And coming to the version, it comes with 2 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabytes of internal storage, expanded in 20.
Them for the last almost starting 2015. I have a script in front of me on the teleprompter, but I'm going to say something different. I think there's a reason why Amazon and Xiaomi has been working so well together. I probably attend launches once a week, and this is the first time I have actually seen consumers sitting in front of me, and that shows how customer-obsessed this entire company is, which is exactly what Amazon stands for. These are 2 organizations which are obsessed with what their customers want, and which is why I think we work so well. So thank you, Manu. Thank you, Raghu, and the entire team over here.
Really like. Not yet. It's also
in Amazon.
Y1 Lite is also made in India.
Really get excited when we see products which delight our customers. And when I see some of the features which were being spoken about, there were so many of them which actually made me say, wow. I have someone bring it in earlier on the teleprompter, but I'm going to say something different. I think there's a reason why Amazon and self-expression Xiaomi has been working so really well in the product. I probably attend. So we are very excited about it. This product will be in the market. I have actually seen 9th of November in front of me. And that shows how customer-obsessed this entire company is, which is exactly what Amazon stands for. These are 2 organizations and we are very excited with this. So thank you once again. And it's a delight to see fans coming so well. So thank you, Manu. Thank you, Raghu, and the entire team over here.
Thank you.
Not yet. It's also
in Amazon.
Y1 Lite is also made in India.
Really get excited when we see products which delight our customers. And when I see some of the features which were being spoken about, there were so many of them which actually made me say, wow. I have someone bring it in earlier. I'm also
happy to say something different.
I think there's a reason why Amazon and starting Xiaomi has been working so really well in the product. We are very excited about it. This product will be in the market. I have actually seen 9th of November in front of me. And that shows how customer-obsessed this entire company is, which is exactly what Amazon stands for. These are 2 organizations and we are very excited with what thank you once again. And it's a delight.
I have a product endorser here for Y1 series. And the big surprise for you guys is that we have this person between us. So let me call on stage our superstar for the day, Katrina. Can we get a mic for Katrina?
Good afternoon, everybody. Are you guys having a good time? Come on, I can hear you make more noise than that from that side of the room. Come on, who's excited to be here today? I've been hearing Manu's speech backstage. I was behind the door, so I also got to know even more about this amazing brand. So I'm extremely excited to be here today with the Xiaomi team to be launching the Redmi Y1 phone, which is an incredible phone. And I'm sure that you guys are all gonna love your selfie with this new phone. And it's really, it's a wonderful opportunity for me to be here today, to be able to meet you all. It's been a long time since I've come to Delhi. And thank you so much for that introduction.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's have an official photo op. Can I also ask Jay to join us? Jay, can you come back on stage? Why don't you come in? Yeah. Should we take a selfie, since this is a selfie-focused phone? Okay. Can I also ask Manish to join us on stage? Please come. Okay. Okay. Maybe come a little bit in the front. Here, come. Squeeze in. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Katrina, for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Please. Sure. Yeah, I think you can. Okay. I think it's okay. Just wait for like a few seconds, okay? Okay, what do you want? You want more pictures? Okay, guys, we'll give you 30 more seconds. You can take as many pictures as you want. Okay, sure, why not? Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Peace. Okay, guys, please be seated. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Special thanks to everybody who was watching us on live stream. That's all that we had to announce. I will request all our media colleagues to please move to the experience zone and check out the new MIUI 9 on your Redmi Y1 and Y1 Lite. All our Mi fans, please stay back. We'll have a special session with Sir Jaimani. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.